Okay, welcome everybody. And my interviewee today is Cyril Ruttenberg. I think most of you who've tuned in, probably know Cyril. And Cyril is the leader of our Yiddish group. So tempting as it might be, we're going to have this conversation in English, although we might ask for a smattering. Hello?
I missed your talk. I'm not hearing you properly.
Oh, I don't know what to say about that.
Okay, keep going.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was just saying that you're the leader of Yiddish conversation, but we're going to have this conversation in English, and maybe you'll give us a quick smattering of Yiddish at the end, which would be very nice. So you were born in South Africa in a small town called East London, which is in your passport. So what is East London like in South Africa?
East London was a very small town on the edge of the Transkei.
Right.
It was on a river, and that was called Port Rex by the English. But when South Africa got, in about 1910, they decided to call it, because it was a town on a river, they decided to call it East London.
Okay.
So they made it up with London.
Yeah. And were your parents born in South Africa, or did they come there from elsewhere?
My mother was born in South Africa in the Free State. My father came from Lithuania in 1920.
Okay.
And he took British citizenship as such.
And were you an only child, or do you have siblings?
No, I have two sisters older than me. I'm the little baby.
You're the baby boy. And I've got it here that you went to live in Cape Town, and on completion of your schooling, you spoke English, Afrikaans, Yiddish, and a small amount of
Xhosa.
What? What was it?
Xhosa.
Okay. Would you like to explain what that is?
It's an African language which belongs to the biggest group of South African tribes. Xhosa being the major tribe, and it's where Nelson Mandela and them all spoke. And it was East London was 35 miles from the Transkei border. So virtually everything was in Xhosa in those days.
So can you just tell us a little bit about your growing up, your schooling, your childhood?
Yeah. I went to a school called Selborne College, where things like rugby was a compulsory sport. As one knows, South Africa, rugby is not a sport, it's a religion. It's very important to the people. And it was, when I finished school, I went to live in Cape Town because I saw no future to continue living in East London. My parents followed me about 2 years later, came to live in Cape Town as well. I started working in the furniture and electrical, carpeting, etc., house business, which I did for about a dozen years. After I got married in 1970, my wife's family were original founders of the diamond polishing industry in South Africa in 1928. And she was a diamond sorter and marker. And one day I was about to move into a different form of discount furniture and white goods. And my father-in-law said, well, if you want to change something, why don't you come take a year out of business and come and work in the factory, which I did. Of course, once it got with diamonds, once you get it under your fingernails, diamond powder, you never get rid of it. So I never went back to the furniture and electrical industry. My wife taught me how to mark and sort diamonds to start with. I decided I didn't know enough. So I went into the factory, got permission from the unions to be allowed to work inside the factory, because the unions in South Africa, the Diamond Workers Union, was very, very strong.
Was that, I mean, black people, white people, mixed?
There were only white people. Brown people, unfortunately, were not permitted to work with rough diamonds.
Really?
Yeah, it was the law of the country, and they maintained that there was more illegal diamonds called IDB than there was official diamonds in the country. So I had to get permission to learn to work as a diamond polisher, which I did. And after a number of years, I got permission by De Beers to go to the 10 Kimberley sites, which is where all the factories got their supplies of diamonds. And but in order to do that, they had to be convinced that my knowledge was enough to attend, which I did, which I was very fortunate. And for many years, I did that. Polishing diamonds was exciting in that you see, when you're doing it, you can actually see the beauty of the diamonds that you're working on. They start off looking like nothing, but as you polish along, which is not easy, they become more and more beautiful. And so this is what I did for many years.
How do you know when to stop polishing, or is that quite obvious?
Well, no. Well, when you're working at it, you start looking for the impurities that are inside it, and those that you can reach, and those that you have to decide, those you have to leave. This in itself is it's not simple, but it's you learn as you go along what you have to do and what you have to accept as remaining, because 99.99% of all diamonds have some impurity inside them.
Right.
And you have to decide as you're working along what you're going to stop at and where you're going to stop. It was very interesting.
Did the polishing stop there, or did you go on further? Could you then carry on further?
I personally decided the great god of diamonds in the world is the Gemological Institute of America.
Okay.
Which is a laboratory, and they make the rules of what your magnifications, etc., got to be. I actually did the Gemological Institute of America. I got the degree on diamond work. They also do all the other colored stones, but the diamond section I did as well. So I was a graduate.
Did you go to America for that?
No, I did it by correspondence, and then when at a certain point we actually have to physically do a set of diamonds. There was a set of 10 diamonds already in Johannesburg with the South African government-run group, and I had to go to Johannesburg and certify them and fill out all the forms, etc. It was there was a full test for a number of hours, and so then, and they sent my results off to America, and I obviously knew enough, and what I did was qualified. A lot of the diamond work for me considered was actually, there was a lot of travel involved. Besides going to Kimberley on a regular basis, we had clients all over the world. And
so who were you working for at that stage?
It was the family. It was the family.
Your
factory.
in-law family business.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
What did your father work in electrical and white goods?
Yes.
Is that why you went? Right.
My father was in furniture, and his father in Lithuania was in furniture. So.
Oh, really?
It was a case of I went into it, and but diamonds, as I said, get under your skin and you don't let go.
Sounds like you really love working with diamonds.
I did. I really did. And amongst our clients was one in America was one of the Federation of World Diamond Bourses. The president of that was actually one of our customers. So I would visit him, and we had clients all over the world, in Canada, in Spain, in Hong Kong.
And are these retail jewelers?
No, not
Okay.
retail jewelers. These were the people who supply the retail jewelers.
Okay.
We supplied them and they supplied the jewelers.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a step that happens.
And is South Africa the main producer of diamonds, or
50 up until about 15 years ago they were, but the Indian continent started to take over, and today I would say that something like 95% of all diamonds are polished in India.
Really? Gosh.
I mean, we had a very nice factory specializing in large diamonds, as opposed to most factories doing small diamonds. And one day, in conversation with one of the manufacturers out of India, I said to him, well, how many people do you have in your factory? Now, in South Africa, a factory with 30, 40, 50 specialists was considered a major factory. He said to me, well, at last count, we had 175,000. That's the word. That's what the Indians said. And so I looked up the details, and at that stage, De Beers said there were 900,000 polishers in India.
Gosh, okay.
They weren't qualified diamond polishers who'd done 5-year apprenticeships. Each one was taught to make one particular facet, and then he passed it on to somebody else who made the next facet.
Oh, I see.
So it became like a production line.
Right.
Whereas what we did in South Africa was we specialized in completion, in doing, it took 3 people. The diamond went through 3 different stages till it was complete. So
what was that? Polishing, and then?
Well, it was first a case of sawing, where we'd had to decide where we were going to cut the diamond. Then there was a case of rounding the diamond off, because 99% of diamonds are round. Then there was a man, one of us blocked the diamond into its shape as we know it. And then the last person, the brilliant, it was like building a house and somebody comes along and paints it. Completed the cycle.
Right. And did those diamonds then go on to be set in jewellery?
Well, eventually, as I say, we supplied people all over the world who were major marketing people who supplied the jewelers, who then had them placed in their in the jewellery as such.
So in a way, you didn't see your particular diamond you might have been working on. You didn't see it eventually in a ring or brooch or tiara. You're going to show us some diamonds now.
Yes and no, the answer is. This morning we were walking, my wife and I were walking with a walking group, and she was wearing a ring, and somebody said to her, "That's very nice." And she said, "Yes, but these stones are different from any others because Cyril actually polished them."
Well, there you are.
So every now and again I would see the end result, but that would mean that I'd made a piece of jewellery.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. So you really loved your work, it sounds like.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
When I came to live in England, as you've written, I joined the London Diamond Bourse, which is the official government accepted group of dealers, and it's part of their 36 different bourses around the world in all the major countries, and diamonds from all over the world go through there.
Okay.
And
was that difficult to get into?
Yes, you had to have a certain amount of credence. My credence, I was very lucky because being a De Beers client, somebody at De Beers said, yeah, take him. He knows what he's doing, which was very lucky, and I was very pleased with that.
And what made you come to London?
My wife had two sisters living here.
Okay.
We decided it was time to leave South Africa and the apartheid living with our children, and it was time for them to live outside of this bubble. And that was before the bubble could burst. So we left in 1988. The 1992, I think, is when they started to hand over the reins thing. But in those years, in many of those years, I was very lucky to be traveling. So I traveled all over the world, and I actually came to live in England for a few months because our factory, we decided there was a new computerized diamond polishing machine. And I came to learn how to work it and install it, etc. And then we installed one of the first of these machines in South Africa, in Cape Town, which was an automatic diamond polishing. It didn't complete the diamond, but there was a lot of what I should call the donkey work could be done by machine.
Did that reduce the cost of the diamond, the fact that it wasn't done by hand anymore?
No, that the diamonds were still the natural same diamond. It's just that a number of the facets could be put on by a computerized, instead of holding it in its own tang and grinding it, you clipped it into the machine and the machine would do some of the basic work. Today, unfortunately, the diamond world is being hammered by the fact that they are manufacturing diamonds by machine, manufacturing diamonds from nothing. They get placed in a machine.
What, in a laboratory, you mean?
Yes. It's a laboratory grown diamond. And that is although it's a diamond and it has all the properties of a diamond, it isn't a real diamond. It's a manufactured diamond. It's like pearls. The original pearls were very, very rare and very, very expensive. Today, you can buy pearls for peanuts. It's the same
Cultured
sort
pearls. So these are like cultured diamonds.
correct. But they're not, but they have no, although they're very, very cheap, they have no resale value.
Okay.
Nobody in the diamond world will touch them, but jewelers will use them.
Are they ever used in a mixed context? So somebody will have a brooch.
I would hope not.
You disapprove of these?
Yes, very much so. But there are, I mean, about 5% of the value of a real diamond are these manufactured diamonds, which unfortunately people that don't acknowledge, or a lot of people dishonest as people can be, they put them into the jewelry without saying anything. So one has to really know who you're dealing with when buying diamonds.
And would you be able, with the naked eye, to tell the difference? Or
no, there's
really,
unfortunately, there's special equipment, laboratory equipment, which one would have to use in order to establish whether it was a genuine diamond or not.
Gosh, so that's quite a development.
Yes, it is, and hopefully it'll get better, and people will be honest enough to say whether it is or it isn't. What they're doing these days is when a stone is sent to the Gemological Institute of America for certification, where the rules, as I said at the beginning, are made, on the girdle, on the edge of the diamond, it is laser written what the diamond is in color, in quality, etc. They are now doing where they have a non-real diamond. They put on the side lab grown.
Okay.
So it's written, and people in the diamond industry as such will tell you. Last week I was in town, and I went to the Bourse, and I asked somebody about something, and he said to me, absolutely worth zero because it's not real.
Gosh.
It happens.
Were you ever tempted to diversify into other jewels, coloured stones, or?
Yes, I did work. I worked with somebody whose speciality was sapphires, rubies, and emeralds. And so we worked together, and people clients of mine wanting particular pieces, I was able to supply because my contact was one of the best in London and still is.
Are you fully retired or not?
Yes, I went to work one day to be asked a question by funny enough, my coloured stone colleague. And he said to me, do you know the official age of retirement in England? And I said, yes, 65. And he said to me, well, you've stolen 10 years, now get out. I said, what? He says, go and do the things you will not be able to do if you work another 5 years. And so 5 years ago, I walked away and said, I am retired.
How did you find life coming to London? Because at one point, South Africa was seen as quite a pariah on the global stage. I mean, there were
Okay.
protests and goodness knows what. I mean, obviously in apartheid days, and you were told not to buy South African produce, etc. How did you experience?
Well, when I came to live here, my wife is a European citizen, and I went to Croydon and I said, right, I would like to take British citizenship. And they said to me, come back after 5 years. I said, okay. He said, but be aware that we're running 3 years late.
Right.
He says, so in 8 years' time, you can come and get your British citizenship. With this horrible passport, which didn't allow me, it allowed me to go to Belgium, it allowed me to go to Switzerland. Virtually anywhere else in the world, that passport was worth zero.
Because of
the apartheid,
anti-South African, yeah.
So one day I got a phone call after I'd been here about a year, less than a year. I got a phone call from somebody in Holland who said to me, yesterday in Parliament, the Dutch decided that men and women were equal. And therefore, the standard rule around the world where a man gets married to a woman, she is usually entitled to his nationality. As of yesterday, you are entitled to your wife's nationality.
Gosh, okay.
So I had to petition the Dutch Queen, give the reasons why I should be granted a Netherlands passport. And just under about a year, I got a letter in the post saying, as of yesterday, the Queen has elected the following people have Dutch citizenship. And there were 10 or 12 names on the list, and mine was one of them.
Right.
So I contacted the embassy and they said, be aware that we are not a passport of convenience. I said, what? He says, if you take Dutch citizenship, you have to give up any other citizenship. So here's my South African passport. Yeah, take it. And within a few weeks, I had a Dutch passport, which allows me to go wherever I want to.
That was a good breakthrough.
It was. And to this day, people say to me, why are you still on a Dutch passport? I said, because I wasn't going to wait the 8 years, and the Dutch were good to me. They supplied me with a passport within a year and a bit. And so I have a Dutch passport. And there again, it reads, place of birth, East London. So many people, when they see that, they say, oh, from England. Yes, I live in England.
Yes and no. Yeah, I could say that. And now you've got a European passport, which with Brexit is enormously helpful.
Yes.
Right. And you must have found quite an expat South African community here when you came, because
yes and no. We made it, many of our friends only mixed in the South African community, etc. And we decided we did not want to go straight back into with people that we knew and have the same backgrounds. It was time to break out and learn something else from other people. And so typical example was when I went to Shu. And I went to a number of them till I found somewhere to go that I would be happy. And I walked in and the rabbi came over and said, are you new? Are you here on holiday, etc.? I said, no, I've come to settle here. And as you know, he was a South African. And
so you didn't get that far away.
And so that sort of fell into place.
How did your children acclimatise to life here?
Well, they when we came, just before we came, I actually came over and saw the headmistress of the JFS. And she said, well, I'd need to see your children if you're coming to settle in England. And she said, you go on summer holidays, beginning of January, December. We're still at school. So bring them, make an appointment, bring them over to England, and I will interview them, which she did. And my wife and I sat in the passage outside while she interviewed my children. And then she came out and said, you come inside. And we went in a little bit trepidation. And she said, it will be my pleasure to have your children in my school.
Oh, how lovely.
So then we said, okay. So then we knew that they were going to go to Camden to the school. Now it was a case of looking for a home. So now we looked at how did my kids get to school. So it was a case of looking at the Northern Line. So we went up the Northern Line on either side, and it took us 6 months to find a home. It was within walking distance of the tube station, and so we found ourselves in East Finchley, and we're still there in the same home. My children grew up, they went to universities, one to Liverpool, one to in London, and one to Bristol.
And what do they do?
Well, my daughter did the history of art, and she worked for a while at the one of the museums in town. My next one went to Liverpool, did law and French law, decided he didn't want to be a lawyer. He's not interested in your problems. He says, I've got enough problems on my own. And people come to the lawyer because they've got a problem. So he bailed out of that, went into IT work. My youngest went to Bristol and did aeronautic engineering.
Gosh.
And then halfway through, he decided that the best aeronautic school in the world, in his opinion, was the Haifa Technion. So he went to the Technion. He did a swap with the Technion that they would take some Bristol pupils, and he was allowed to go to the Technion for a while, which stood him in good stead. When he qualified, he found that 90% of the people doing aeronautics went into the Royal Air Force.
Right.
Because there are not that many jobs on, specialists like that. The only difference for him was he was not on a British passport, and therefore he could not go to the Royal Air Force.
Okay.
He was on a Dutch passport.
Of course.
As his mother and his brothers and sister and his father was. So he then went to Cambridge, did a postgrad, and he works in various industries involved in loyalty, etc. And in fact, until last year, he was transferred to Hong Kong to do a project there. Unfortunately, the pandemic made it very, very difficult to work in Hong Kong. Every time he came home to see his family and his kids, when he went back, he had to spend up to 5 weeks locked in a room.
Oh, my goodness.
Until they could. After after 3 times, he said, "That's it, guys. Never mind that I'm doing a major job for one of the biggest companies in Hong Kong. I'm not staying." And so he's back here.
Okay. So nobody has gone into diamonds?
No. Had we still had a factory running, the answer is they would have. But to teach them to trade in diamonds, it could be anything. It could be pens and pencils. You know, the speciality work was the fact that I was a dinosaur. I was one of the last few people that done virtually everything from buying rough diamonds, polishing, marketing, etc.
The whole lot. Yeah.
The whole lot. Whereas today, people come into the industry, particularly Hasidim.
Oh, yes.
Very much so.
Because there's a bourse, isn't there, in Antwerp, is it? The diamond bourse?
Antwerp, there's one in Antwerp as well. They're all in New York, of course in Israel, etc. But the Antwerp, New York and London, large proportion of them are Hasidic. Now, as you know, Yiddish is one of my subjects, one of my languages.
Yeah.
They didn't know that. And working among them,
they talk about you in Yiddish.
And they don't talk to each other in any other language. They talk to each other in Yiddish. So I could stand with them, listen to the conversation, and know which way I'm going or how to trade with them. So it had its advantages.
Can you tell me, was Yiddish spoken in your home? Is that how you came to it?
Yes. My grandfather, who was also out of Lithuania, in 1904, I think he came to South Africa. He went to live in the Orange Free State. He was a tailor. And in the Free State in those days, they didn't speak English. They only spoke Afrikaans. And so he learned Afrikaans and Yiddish, which he spoke. And he never learned English until he was maybe 70 years old. He didn't deal with English people. So he came to live with us when I was probably 1 or 2 years old. And for the next 15 years or 17 years, he only spoke to me in Yiddish.
Gosh.
So I never learnt Yiddish as such, although because of my involvement in Yiddish through U3A, I've actually enrolled in a course at SOAS University.
Good for you.
In Yiddish at summer school. Because, as I say, I actually have never learnt it. I only use it.
I always find Yiddish a bit depressing. I mean, my parents spoke Yiddish, but English as well, because it always seems to me the language of the ghetto. I mean, I always think, well, yeah, but a lot of people find it a very enriching and, marvelous language.
It's very expressive. And it was not so much of the ghetto, it was of the shtetl, the little village. And that's how they operated in the little villages all around Eastern Europe and Russia, Ukraine, Lithuania, Latvia, etc. They spoke Yiddish and not so much the local language. And so it's very expressive. and the curses are fantastic.
Okay. Okay. And did you ever read like Isaac Bashevis Singer in Yiddish?
Yes. I went to a summer school in Cape Town, and we were doing Yitzchak Bashevis Singer in Yiddish. But this course that I'm going to be doing will brush up on my reading. They also want to teach me writing, and I keep saying to them, I have no one left in this world to whom I would need to write in Yiddish.
Am I right in thinking that Yiddish is written in Hebrew?
Yes, it's written in Aleph Beis.
Yeah, classical Hebrew.
It's the classical Hebrew wording, lettering, but it's pronounced completely differently.
Okay.
And moving from the one to the other is going to be very difficult, because Hebrew is the language, as they say, Hebrew is the language of prayer.
Yeah.
But Yiddish is not. So they don't use they. When I say they, I'm talking about the religious community. Don't talk to each other in Hebrew. They only talk to each other in Yiddish.
Because Hebrew is not to be used to tell someone to shut up or something.
Yes, correct.
It's a holy script more.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
although that's only here. I mean, among the religious community. In Israel, everybody speaks Hebrew.
well, that's Ivrit, isn't it? They've got a, yeah. And do you find Yiddish speakers in Israel? Have you, or you don't?
I don't know anymore. I only know that the first time I went to Israel in 1963, I was staying with a cousin who was the editor of Mariv newspaper.
Right.
And as such, he had a lot of people, generals and the head of El Al, etc. They used to pop in to see him at home in the evenings. And they would have a conversation. And all of a sudden, he said to me, "Do you understand?" I said, "No, not out." He says, "But how's your Yiddish?" I said, "Yes." And therefore, the whole conversation became a conversation for the next hour or two, all in Yiddish, which was fantastic for me.
Absolutely.
But today, the younger community, they don't, it's not, although there's a revival, there is a revival, but the community, as you say, they take the attitude that Yiddish was spoken, as you said, in the ghetto. And therefore they want to disassociate themselves from it.
Okay. So it's seen as almost a language of oppression.
It was a language of the peasant, basically. It was a peasant language, and it grew as a peasant language, which is why they have German, Russian, Lithuanian.
Marvelous.
All the bits and pieces in the same language. So
apart from your wife and families, Yiddish and diamonds are your passions?
Yes, very much so. I say, I'm very lucky to have been able to get into the diamond industry, because at that level, people don't have the opportunities which I had. But it gave me, for example, one of our clients in New York was the head of the World Federation of Diamond Bourses.
Gosh.
And about 6 or 7 years ago, at a dinner here in London, at the Savoy Hotel, I was placed next to a gentleman who was the current world president. He was a South African, and he was the head of the World Federation of Diamond Bourses. And I said to him, tell me, how did you get into diamonds? And he said, my father was brought from Holland. I said, to which factory? And it was us.
Oh, how interesting.
And I had the same thing happen to me. My wife's grandfather, when he started the factory, he built a block of flats opposite. So that when he brought his workers from Holland, he had place to put them, and they could live with their families. And I was in De Beers in Kimberley one day, and one of the large factories said to me, does Hollandia Flats still exist? Opposite thing. I said, yes, why? He says, I was born there. So what he was telling me was the fact that his family had been contract workers who'd come out to work for the family.
Gosh,
so
amazing.
It's a very closed-knit situation. And I'm very pleased to have been able to get involved.
I don't know if you know, but they reckon the advertising slogan of the 20th century, do you know what it was?
Diamond is forever?
Absolutely, because it's 4 words, and that was the advertising slogan of the 20th century. So,
well, that was De Beers. I mean, who at that stage, when they did that, they controlled about 90% of the world's diamonds. Today, they probably control maybe 20% or 25%. Yeah. So it's very hard to follow that.
Yeah.
Yes, a diamond is forever is because the fact that the material as such doesn't deteriorate. It gets dirty. It shouldn't get scratched, but it can. And it gets dirty.
I think it was also that if non-fabulously wealthy people, a man bought a woman a diamond, a small diamond as an engagement ring, it was forever. She had something forever. So a diamond, it was, you know, it was there forever.
It was very clever marketing.
Very, because it's 4 words.
Yeah. And as I say, it still is. They still use it.
Absolutely.
And yes, you're right. One could buy a simple ring for £100 or £100,000, and you're still on the same product.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to ask Neng if he wants to let in some of the people who've been listening. Neng, are you there? Neng? I don't know where Neng is now. Gosh, what's happened here? Because I thought maybe...
Okay, well, anybody who wants to...
I can hear you, Eleanor.
Okay, fine. I thought you'd run off with the diamonds.
Okay, so shall I unmute everybody?
Yes, why not? And see if anybody wants to ask Cyril any questions.
Okay, I'm muting everybody now.
Unmuting, you mean?
Unmuting, yeah. Yeah, so if people can hear me, you can unmute yourself if you wish. I'm just doing it one by one at the moment. So if you're still muted and I haven't come around to you, you can unmute yourself. All right, you can ask questions if you need to. Cyril.
Anybody want to ask Cyril any questions? No?
Hands up if any, no?
No?
Queries?
Nothing?
No?
Nobody wants to ask me anything.
What you say? I don't know if you've got any friends or people listening who want to ask any questions. No? Well, can I ask you for a few sentences in Yiddish then to round us off?
Was willst du wissen? What do you want to know? Ich kann dir sagen ja oder nicht. Wir können entfernen. Philip.
Hallo.
Willst
Hi.
fragen, Boss?
Hey.
Hello, Philip.
Boss, willst du mir fragen? Would you like to ask me something?
Oh, I've got a broken wrist. What do you say that? How do you say that in Yiddish?
Oh, it's a gebrochene hand.
Sounds like a broken head.
Zerbrochene,
I think a broken wrist is better.
Zerbrochene is much more
What's
expressive.
the gefallen? Did you fall?
Yeah, I fell down the stairs. I stumbled over something upstairs and I fell down 6 stairs and
Oh,
landed on the
wow.
half landing on my wrist and my side of my head. But apart from that, I'm fine.
Philip, you've got to say all that in Yiddish if you want to speak to Cyril.
Well, we've got a wonderful translator. So over to Cyril.
Is anyone listening who's in Cyril's Yiddish conversation group? No? Okay. Thought them up. Valerie Jablon, did you want to ask a question or
No,
say something to
It's
Cyril in Yiddish?
fascinating. My grandparents all spoke Yiddish and they spoke to each other and to my parents in Yiddish. And I understood a lot. But when I first went to Israel and met somebody in my late husband's shtetl who was on a kibbutz, I suddenly felt as if my mouth was full of rocks. I never had to express myself in Yiddish. So it was very hard to get the words out. So like most people, I know a lot of expressions and understand a lot, but can't actually have a proper conversation.
Well, as I said, it's probably one of the nicest ones to have a few curses.
Yes, wonderful.
You know, I'm going to tell you one of them. So zu wachsen wie a Zwiebel mit dem Kopf in der Erde.
Yeah, it's a lovely word.
Well, we need a translation, Cyril.
Okay. May you grow like an onion with your head in the ground.
May you grow what?
Like an onion.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
What about hack me a Chinik?
Yeah.
Hat mir der Chainik jetzt come ask me why you asking me another question, sort of thing. Don't know.
Bang me a teapot.
The teapot, yeah. But Cyril, can I ask you something about the question about writing? Because I'm doing some work on my family tree, and there are probably letters amongst my father's papers in Yiddish.
Yes.
So, can you read a letter in Yiddish that was written 100 years ago?
The answer to that is, unfortunately, no. And the reason I'm saying that is I have I have letters that came to my family written in 1934.
Right.
In Yiddish, and I have not been able to find anybody who can translate them.
I can.
I've given it to official translation services, etc. Nobody.
I found a translator. I'll email you. I found a translator.
You have?
Yeah.
Because I spoke to the leader of the course that I'll be doing.
Yeah.
And she says, yes, she will be able to do it. So I'll hold my breath for another 3 months. And
you can get translated within a week. I've got a couple of people that I can pass you on to.
Please.
I'll email you. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm going to write to you in English, I'm afraid.
With pleasure. Please.
Thank you.
But, Philip, I've actually got you on my list.
I have to tell Eleanor that when I came to the open day and I spoke to Cyril about learning Yiddish, because I'd love to learn Yiddish, but at the moment I'm learning biblical Hebrew, and I can't do more than one thing at a time. So
that's right.
I'm hoping next year to start doing some Yiddish.
Marvelous. Well done.
That would be lovely. We would really appreciate your coming. In fact, one of the ladies who attends my class, I call it class because that's basically what it is, sent me, she is a rather elderly lady who does stained glass and has an exhibition. One of her works is actually in the V&A Museum. but she sent me, I've got to find it. She sent me have a good Purim, and she sent me a picture which she made of, and I will find it for you in a moment and show it to everybody. She sent me a message, have a nice Purim, which is this week, and there's the picture is on it, but I can't find it. Isn't that amazing? I will find it. I will find it. Sorry, folks, but we'll, unfortunately.
While you're looking for it, 25 years ago, my father could have read it for you, but he died. If he hadn't been able to read and write Yiddish, he wouldn't have discovered a cousin, because a cousin of his from Poland, who he hadn't known in Poland, it was one of the first people on a kibbutz in the Jordan Valley, and he had discovered my father, and he was in the Jewish brigade with the British forces, and he wrote a letter to my father, and if my father hadn't been able to read Yiddish, he wouldn't have known what it said. They would have discovered a whole new family.
Well,
Valerie, can I ask you where your backdrop is, the flowers? I mean, they are just...
It's my front garden.
It's your garden?
Yes, spring before last. That's my
Oh
front.
my goodness me.
I hope
Absolutely.
up again.
Are you a very big horticulturalist?
The more I learn, the less I can do it physically, but I know a lot about it.
That is the most wonderful garden. No wonder you've got that photo.
Yes,
Right, Cyril, where are we?
we're still battling.
Okay.
It's been I haven't found that picture. She
Okay.
sent me a Purim message, and she had a Queen Esther in coloured stones.
Oh, lovely.
That she had built, and I don't know.
Do your children speak Yiddish?
No.
Okay.
I think that they understand more than they let on.
They know the odd curse coming from Dad, do they?
Absolutely. But they don't actually, they don't speak it at all.
Okay.
But as I say, unfortunately, I grew up speaking it. My wife, who didn't speak it, now understands everything I say in Yiddish.
Good.
So, because, after 52 years, I imagine it a little bit has rubbed off.
I'm of a generation who learned quite a lot because their parents used to say things to each other in Yiddish that they didn't want us to understand.
Yeah, well, that's how we all.
Good word. Yeah, it's a good way to learn.
That's right. Is there anybody else who wants a quick
Carol,
word
you want to ask something?
Yes? No, I was going to ask you if you'd read, I believe Basheva Singer used to print his books or have them published in Yiddish and in English because he didn't want it to die out.
Yes.
Even though that would have doubled the cost of producing a book to have it in both languages.
About 52 years ago, I was with my wife in Holland, and one of her cousins was a gentleman, was married to a gentleman who came originally out of Vienna. And he said to me something about, do you speak Yiddish? And I said, yes. And he said, do you have a dictionary? And I said, no. He says, well, where are you going next? And I said, we're actually flying on to New York. So he gave me the name of a bookshop, and I went there, and I have this Yiddish, English, Yiddish dictionary.
Marvelous.
Which is something that I've somebody has to tell you that this is available.
Yeah, how marvelous. Cyril, thank you so much for sharing your diamonds and your Yiddish with us.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that I wasn't able to share some of the travel stories.
Well, maybe you'll come back another time when we've
But I'll give you I'll just give you one little one before I cut out.
Okay.
We were in Curacao, in the Dutch Antilles, and a ship tied up on, and I looked and said, oh, it's Saturday morning. Now I know that Wilmstad has a shul. So I said to my wife, I'm going to shul, it's Shabbos. So I managed to cross there was a pontoon they'd built so you can get across from the one side of the harbour to the other. And I went to shul. And when I arrived there, they said, you can't come in. Why?
Wonderful. Yeah.
You are wearing sandals and shorts. We don't allow you in.
Okay. So
Come on, I'm on holiday. You can't come in wearing shorts, even if it is Shabbos. Okay, thank you.
right. And that was it.
That was it.
Well, I hope you'll come back once you and Neng have sorted out the photographic
Sorry, Nang.
element. Well, that's fine. We'll have a travelogue with you, which will be lovely.